7 to 9. When you see that notification, we about to go live. Hit this track and do you dance like you Karen Lacey. Run it back and turn Matthew to the house, baby. It's Tingle and Co. From 7 to 9. Come keep with the show. It's a new era. Let's get it, let's go. From 7 to 9. It's Tingle and Co.
All right, good morning and welcome in here on this Tuesday morning. An exciting Tuesday show we have for everyone. Lloyd is here. Kinfolk has returned, and he has found a new weapon somehow. If this show gets banned today
for racism,
nope, that's not what.
I figured. I don't think. I mean, they don't use those anymore.
You can go bow hunting.
Oh,
good God!
I guess you get a deer scalp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Lord have mercy.
Welcome in.
Back on track. Welcome in here on this Tuesday morning. Appreciate everybody joining us. If you missed it yesterday, you didn't see yesterday's show or the clip put out after the show, you missed one of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my entire life, as TigerTubaKent joined the show.
The YouTuber.
That was a great show. And he was awesome. Like, coolest guy ever. The most motivated man I've ever seen in my life.
He's like suburban David Goggins.
Literally. Like, I just spent my whole life working, finally retired.
What's next?
Should I relax?
No.
Just travel and let's re-enroll in school and try out for the Golden Band.
When we're a 15-pound weighted vest that he threw on immediately as soon as the show was over. He's like, "Give me that bag."
As soon as I took it off, he said, "Pop!" Right on. It's like, this is nothing. But he was awesome. If you didn't see the interview, go back and watch it. It was probably one of my favorite sit-downs we've ever done because he was just like, that's one of those easy ones where you can just lob a question out and he'll roll. And he had a lot to say, and it was as good as it gets. So if you didn't see it, go watch it. It's on our YouTube channel. It's clipped yesterday. Just the part of him talking about his path to trying out for the band is clipped. If you want the full 50-minute sit down, it's on the live show from yesterday. But we are back this morning. I appreciate all of you joining us. Obviously, some headlines from yesterday. We'll start it off right here in Lloyd and Kinfolk. I'll give the headline. I'll let y'all run with it. Ashton Larson has announced that he has hit the transfer portal. The floor is yours.
I mean, one of those things that you may have seen. I felt like everybody kind of saw the writing on the wall, but nobody wanted to believe it. It was like, I can understand why he would. Good enough player to compete for a spot, but we had some conversations with him, and it felt like next year is very important to be able to play every day. It's his draft eligibility.
Right,
eligibility, money year. He'll be a junior. And so it felt like for him, somebody that could easily transfer within the SEC. Like, good enough to play. And you just hope that he gets that opportunity to get to go somewhere he doesn't hurt you. But you feel bad for him because you don't know if Stanfield's coming back. You don't know if Ethan Fry's coming back. You don't know if Larson's coming back. LSU is stacked. And this is you're kind of a product of your own success, a victim of your own success by being able to recruit in this manner. So wherever Ashton Larson goes, he will succeed. He'll thrive. But it's unfortunate won't be in the purple and gold. And don't forget what he did for you as a freshman.
Yes.
Kind of helped turn your season around.
No, I mean, the role he played at the end of that 2024 season, he was one of your, if not the most consistent bat in the lineup on the latter half of that season through SEC conference tournament into postseason play. Like, Larson was a legitimate, consistent hitter in that lineup and played a great right field. Yes.
And even, you could say even impacted, albeit the struggles that were he couldn't get healthy. And whenever he finally started to play a little bit better, he got hurt again. And then you saw, obviously the potential to impact the game because he came in and was put in some impossible spots and still succeeded. Like, to come in, hit a homer to right whenever it's, the fifth or sixth inning, and or the eighth. Come in, first swing, and then to also have the wherewithal to, draw a walk and don't actually push to try to do too much. Good baseball player. You'll be missed.
So I got a couple simpleton questions.
Uh-huh.
What is the latest that guys can transfer?
I don't know when the window closes.
Closes today.
Today, yeah.
Okay.
I felt like it was this week.
But you have to put your name into the portal by today.
By today.
But you can still move around.
Yeah, now you don't have to be declare for a school yet.
Right.
You just have to put your name in the portal.
And then if a couple of these guys get picked and maybe go a little bit lower than they thought, we still have guys that can technically say they put their name in and they can come back at this point. Is it like the NBA at this, just with the NIL rules and stuff?
Yeah, no, I mean,
the way things have kind of changed.
The Major League Baseball draft, they can have their name in it. They don't really like where they shook out.
Yeah, okay.
They withdraw, head back to school, if they have the eligibility, obviously.
I'm here to ask the idiot questions.
Yes, no, that's good. That's good for the common folk. But yeah, no, I mean,
kinfolk.
For the kinfolk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, it is a loss for LSU because Ashton Larson is a very talented player, but I would equate the LSU the position of outfield to similarly to that of wide receiver in football, where there's so much talent in that position group and there's only so many spots. You've seen it at wide receiver at LSU for years, where guys that you expected to produce and be a part of the everyday whatever, like Brian Thomas in 2022 really didn't play that much because you had Jeray Jenkins, Kayshawn Boutte, Malik Neighbors, Aaron Anderson in 2023 didn't play that much because you had Brian Thomas, Kyron Lacey, you go down the list. And luckily those guys stuck it through, didn't transfer. But you did have guys that ended up transferring. Jalen Brown transferred to Florida State. There are other guys that ended up leaving and going elsewhere. Shelton Sampson to UL. It's a position at outfield in the outfield where you only have 3 spots and maybe a fourth with DHing. and these guys want an opportunity. Curiel's got his spot locked up. Jake Brown's got his spot locked up. So then that leaves one spot for Larson and whoever else is still in contention, whether it be Stanfield or Fry or a transfer portal guy or an incoming freshman. Go down the list. Jay Johnson's recruited at such a high level. This is just kind of one of the negatives of when you're that good of a recruiter. When you build that good of a roster and you create depth, this is just one of the negatives that can come out of it, is when you lose a talented player like Ashton Larson.
And he was one of the best examples of what we were talking about during the season, right, where it's the team-first kind of guy who was there even though he'd lost his spot. He was smiling. He was taking his at-bat seriously. So it's like all the best to you.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, you did everything we ever could have asked.
He could have checked out so easy.
Right.
The second that
Curiel... You know he's not happy.
Like, no, he didn't want to leave.
No.
Like, you can see it just... I remember we talked about it multiple times. You could see on his face in videos and pictures. That man loves Jay Johnson and he loves this program. Ashton Larson does. It just didn't work out. And he needs a place to showcase his ability where he knows he can showcase it. Because he has it. We've seen it for the end of his freshman season when he looked like an everyday guy.
Looked like an all-SEC player.
Right. And then in spurts this season where he got his opportunity, put together good ABs. Made things happen. There were multiple times, even in the postseason, where he was a vital piece of what happened in those games.
And he wasn't healthy.
And he's got the ability, and it sucks that it's not going to pan out at LSU, but he's going to go and he's going to play very well somewhere else, and I wish the best to him because he deserves the opportunity to showcase his talent, his ability in his junior money season. So as much as it sucks for LSU to lose on a player with that much talent, it's happening because of how talented you are. You know, there's two ways the transfer portal can kind of happen. It can either be, there's something wrong and going on over there that these players are leaving.
Tennessee.
Right.
Had like 28 players in the portal.
Or it could be, this is just the odd man out. And that's just kind of the situation with Larson, is he was the odd man out this season because Stanfield came in and grabbed a hold of that center field spot, never let go.
Nope.
Curiel came in, grabbed a hold of that left field spot, never let go. And then Fry grabbed a hold of that DH spot and never let go. So there weren't
And then you had
spots.
Jake Brown and
Pearson and Wright.
Yep.
Like, there just wasn't – he was the odd man out. And
we had Jake yesterday on Mic'd Up, and he talked about how, like, it's not normal for the team to, like, for a team to kind of embrace the rules the way that they did.
Yeah.
Like,
No, not at all.
Like, from, like, even consider himself.
Yeah.
He's like, of course I want to play every day. But whenever you start seeing it, it's like, it was special from the jump. Like, day one, I think Milam had people over the house, and, like, you got the team together, and they're like, oh, okay. And we're kind of all in. Like, we're all in on this thing, and they kept mentioning, like, tough and together. It's like, that was the together part, and it was tough. Like, to do what we all sacrificed something, and Ashton Larson's a prime example of that also, where he's found yourself on the outs, but it's like, well, it would be harder for me to not buy in at this point, and so I'm going to do whatever it takes to help become a part of a championship team, and he did.
Yeah, and he contributed. Like, it's not like he just was along for the ride.
No.
Like, he was a part of this championship team, this championship run, and I wish him the best as he looks to take his next journey somewhere else. But that being said, LSU is still in a very good position at that group. But yeah, I mean, that's such a great example, Lloyd, from Jake. Just everyone grabbed a hold of their role, did it to the best of their ability, and that's what championship teams are. It could have been a mess. You're moving your everyday shortstop from last season to third base, moving your second baseman to shortstop.
Bringing in a transfer.
From Utah Valley State at second.
That thought he was going to play shortstop.
That thought he was going to be the shortstop. Chris Stanfield into the outfield. You've got Jake Brown, who you thought was going to be your center fielder. Derek Curiel is it could have gone 10 million different ways. But you had guys that were bought into the message the head man was preaching, and they wanted to do something like win a national championship. And if you remember, about a week ago, 2 days ago, they won a national championship.
They did.
So
that happened.
Yeah.
Best of luck to Ashton Larson. It'll be interesting to see kind of where he ends up, if it is in the SEC, if he goes Big 12 like Kansas or Kansas State, or if he ends up at another SEC program. He's got the talent to end up anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
It didn't end up working out here, and we'll see kind of where it goes.
Because he is from the Kansas area.
The Midwest.
Kansas City, I believe, is where he's from.
Okay.
Because he had family at Omaha that was like, he's like, easy drive. He's like, we went to Omaha like every year. This was like part of our like family vacation.
God, that's
so
awesome.
It was cool for him to be able to go back, have his family there, and kind of take a part in the national championship in Omaha, where he's like, I grew up here.
I guess my next question to you, Lloyd, is how much does this move make you think about the Stanfield and/or Fry decision? Like, does that pop in your head at all when you see Larson hit the portal?
Yeah. You would imagine a man such as put together, as Jay Johnson is, you'd imagine that they've had their exit meetings, their conversations, and it doesn't mean that it's an absolute guarantee, but it makes you feel like one of those two are coming back, because you would have had a different conversation with Larson. Like, dude, stay.
Yeah.
You're going to have an opportunity to play every day.
Right.
And now it feels like there's an opportunity for Fry to, whether it be move from DH to first base, but now it seems more likely the outfield, if he wants to come back, play every day in the outfield, and make an impact, because I think that's where he would make a ton of money if it goes well.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, you could go from a DH and try to, like Mike, you say, like, you know how hard it is to make it to the big leagues as just a DH? Like, you have to be...
I mean, almost everyone in the league can hit.
Right.
Like,
but then you're not bringing anything else to the table.
Right.
And so he's like, it would make a ton of sense for him to come back and prove that he can play the outfield, a la like Bear Jones at first, where he proved, like, because we were all wondering, why would he come back? And then he does, because he couldn't have hit better.
Right.
And it's like, well, I need to prove I can play a position. And then he comes back and look how well he plays first base. Like, that upped his draft stock. For Ethan Fry, if he can go out and play in the outfield every day, or prove he can play a position, and then he starts, if he starts running around out there and making
Terminator,
plays, and he's going to be a star.
Did we have any idea that Jones was that good defensively at first base going into the season?
No, I mean, he exceeded my expectations defensively at first.
I mean, he was
the growth
he
he showed defensively from sophomore season, which he played a good defensive first sophomore year.
It was not bad. It was just
like,
coming off the heels of Trey Morgan.
Right. And but the way
it just looked totally different.
Yeah, but just the way he played it this year, to me, like he never made...
He's a plus defender.
Like, mistakes defensively before, but he did his job. This year, he was like a very good first baseman of, like, he knew when to field the ball, he knew when to not, when to go cover the bag and let Daniel Dickinson go get. Like, the chemistry they had on that infield was as good as it gets in the sport of baseball.
Yep.
From third base to short to second to first. It was very, very good.
Yeah, it didn't. The reason that the quote-unquote error that he made whenever Arkansas scored gets highlighted so much is because you hadn't seen it all year. Like,
right.
Because he was so good defensively that when something bad happened, you're like, oh, well, he has to catch that. It's like, no, that was an extremely difficult play to make.
Yeah, but think about the play made against Coastal, where he catches it, Braswell throws it off the bag, and he goes and gets it,
puts the tag down, and it changes it. Like, those are things that Coastal would have thrived on.
Yes.
Like, that's how they won baseball
Getting a runner
games.
rolling.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
so
yeah, he was at. Thank you.
Fair enough. If you didn't see the social media post, speaking of LSU baseball, or the title today, or the thumbnail, Seth Dardar, speaking of the LSU infield, an infielder from Kansas State, one of the recent transfers into the LSU baseball program, will be joining us in studio at 8:30 this morning to talk about his decision to come back home. He is from Mandeville, went to Holy Cross, went to, what was the first unit, Columbia?
Yeah.
Went to Columbia, then ends up transferring to Kansas State. Had a heck of a season last year, hit 13 jacks, and then now he is headed back home to Baton Rouge to join the LSU baseball program. We talked to him on the phone last night, getting set up for the interview today. He's excellent. Can't wait to get him in here and to talk some LSU baseball with him as he begins.
Y'all are gonna love him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Great personality.
We also have Wilson Alexander join us at 8 a.m. to talk about Garrett Nussmeier heading into the 2025 football season, but also just help elaborate a little bit more on the revenue sharing. Yes, to teach us, please. As we talked about the rev sharing, the new era yesterday, Wilson will actually be an intelligent human being that joins us and breaks it down and explains it to us, hopefully like we're 5 years old, so we can all understand the ins and the outs. I did see an interesting question posed on Twitter by Carter Bryant yesterday, and it was, I need your help. I'm working on my...
breakdown?
Do what?
Swing breakdown?
Nope, not a swing breakdown. Hallelujah. I'm working on my deepest dive yet. It said, why do you think the LSU defense over the past 5 years has been mostly bad? And so, Lloyd, I will pose that question to you. When you look at the LSU defense over the last 5 seasons, so 2024, 2023, obviously, 2022, 21, and 20, so every year since 2019, what are the reasons you think it has been not the LSU defense of old?
I mean, you lost Dave Aranda.
Yep.
That's a good place to start. Somebody that was one of the smartest minds in all of college football, certainly defensively. He takes a job at Baylor. Then your program becomes an abject disaster for the next. I mean, you make bad hires. Bo Pelini comes in. He doesn't want to do the job, but you hire him anyway because you needed somebody. Coach O's way of thinking was bring in people that I know and trust and like people that want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Or whatever I'm doing. It was Bo Pelini, who was not very interested in changing anything or adjusting to the way college football is currently constructed. It's not 2003 anymore. You're not playing against the I formation.
Right, yeah, no.
So quit blitzing and running covered whatever the fuck against Mississippi State, and they threw for 700 yards. Like, that's a bad idea.
Press man, engage 8.
And it just, he never adjusted. So that's another bad hire. That's a bad hire.
Yes.
Get rid of him. You bring in, Matt House next?
Durante Jones.
Who
really
wasn't bad.
But it was his first time. Like, he was an unproven guy. And it seems like Coach O was maybe in his way a little bit. Because I remember when Coach O backed off, like the Alabama game, defense played excellent.
Yes. And these are all parts of the
Yes.
problem. And then you get rid of Durante Jones, bring in Brian Kelly, bring in Matt House. All of this to say, and then you have to go to a pivot again to Blake Baker. All of this to say it's impossible to recruit when you don't have a defensive coordinator or a head coach.
Revolving door.
Right. So that you just didn't have really the players.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see some semblance of structure and continuity on the defensive side of the football. Also, you fired Corey Raymond. Like, that was a mistake. But then you fix your mistake and bring him back. And guess who can recruit? Guess how you get the number one corner in the country?
Right.
Corey Raymond.
Yep.
So, yeah, you've made some mistakes along the way to having fixing a problem.
Yeah, it has been, from
created.
the defensive standpoint, it's been an absolute mess since Dave Aranda left the building. Like, it has been a mess of defensive line coaches, new one every year.
Right.
You've got linebacker coaches. It's been shifted around multiple times. Where it was Blake Baker, he gets fired. Bring in Matt House, it's his group now. Then, nope, we're actually going to bring Blake Baker back as the DC and the linebacker
and you let
coach.
Blake Baker walk because Matt House coaches linebackers, so there was no room for Blake Baker, I guess.
And it's just
you
there
changed
been
the secondary coach and the safeties coach. You've probably had 10 hires on the defensive side of the football,
or more.
maybe more.
Yeah, it's been an absolute mess, and that's why you haven't been able to recruit the same talent, and so you've ended up with a handful of dogs defense, like really good players like Harold Perkins, Mekhi Wingo. Like, you've ended up with 2, 3, 4, 5 guys instead of, you look back to 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, where it's like you've got 11, 12, 13
Ron Brooks
guys.
doesn't even start.
Right.
He got drafted in the 3rd round.
Like, that's what the LSU defense was, where you had almost 20 guys on defense that
You
could.
just talked about the LSU outfield?
Right.
It's that.
The defensive back room in 2011.
If I could play 5, I would.
Right. And so it's just, you have no consistency. You haven't been able to recruit at that level. Now it does feel like this is the most complete group from a talent standpoint that you have. Like, you saw the growth just from House to Baker year one. Like, without the horses, I mean, Blake Baker took you from being the, 278th defense to, 78th or whatever. Like, a pretty big jump. Now, still not good, but a pretty large leap from what it was, where you're giving up 70 points to Ole Miss. You go out against Lincoln Riley's offense and you shut them down for 23 points in game one.
Yeah, he held them to 10 points at half.
And you, like, put your Ole Miss and like just compare the Ole Miss games from 23 to 24. Like defense lost you the game, defense won you the football game.
Yeah,
like,
and Garrett Nussmeier.
But
you were able to corral them because Lane Kiffin was absolutely like, "How y'all want to play? And that's how y'all want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
I can score 100 if I want." And is that good? He can. Jesus.
Yeah, he can.
I mean, Jane Daniels has one little tiny fumble, and that's the difference in the game on the drive that you had. Yeah, but LSU didn't score on one drive, and that was it.
That's how you lose.
And Ole Miss scored on every drive.
But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting question, just to kind of look at the LSU defense holistically over the last 5 years, because it has been an absolute mess.
Yeah, and you've had the transfer of power almost to like the offensive side since
right.
Like, you can go back to 2019, but even in...
Well, you've had consistency offensively. Like, yes, Joe Brady left, but Ensminger was still there. Now, you went out and got Pete's. The real one hiccup year is 2021 when you went from Ensminger to
Coach
Pete's.
Joe was off his rocker.
Right.
Like, he wasn't letting anybody... Because you remember, like, the question he got asked where he's like, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I'm losing this job, it's going to be because of me. It's like, well, buddy, that was obvious. You
Yeah.
did it.
Later.
Way to accomplish that feat.
He did it.
But then, like, you've had consistency there with Denbrock staying for 2 seasons. He leaves. It's not, you don't go out and bring a new guy that's bringing in a whole new staff. You promote in-house, keep everyone kind of together, build off of your core of Sloan, Hankton, Davis. Like, that's why you've been able to be successful on that side of the ball. There's been consistency. Defensively, not at all.
None.
So, hopefully, continue to be consistent with Blake Baker. But that's my biggest concern is they go out and ball this year. He's going to be the top of every single head coaching list next cycle. Because if he does the growth from 1 to 2 that we expect for Blake Baker, could be a mess.
The chat.
What'd they say?
It's just so funny how quickly people are going from, like, oh, who's LSU going to do baseball-wise, and, like, how do you come back and win a national championship, and all the vibes are very high, till you start talking about the LSU defense, and it's just shit show.
Yeah,
Lack of
literally.
talent, lack of scheme. Like, God damn it.
1,000%. Last headline, just a quick NBA one. Kevon Looney signs with the Pelicans.
I like that move if it was 2018.
I'm still with it now. Like, let me tell you one thing about Kevon Looney. He's played 75-plus games the last, 10 seasons. And the one thing the Pelicans have never had
is
somebody that can play 70 games.
Shows up every day and plays
And
basketball.
so somebody was like, it's a immovable, unstoppable force versus an immovable object. Are the Pelicans actually, cursed? Because if Kevon Looney, who's played 82 games 3 times the last 5 years, goes to New Orleans,
He plays 15.
plays 15 games,
tears his
something's
meniscus
wrong.
in week 2.
Right. An Achilles tear.
But-
you saw it happen with who was their big point guard signing that everybody was kind of excited about.
DeJounte Murray was
DeJounte
in
Murray.
game
hurt.
1?
He got hurt 3 different times.
Yeah.
God, it was crushing. But I like the Kevon Looney signing. I think it's a veteran for a center, like the center group in New Orleans is Yves Missi and Derek Queen, player going into his 2nd season and a rookie.
And not necessarily big bodies in they're big bodies,
Right.
but they're not necessarily physical rebounders right away is not the way that you kind of that's not the first thing you think about when you think about their game. So you can never have too many guys that play tough,
Right.
Length and
get
athletic.
boards,
Yes.
have been winning for 10 years.
Right. Know
'Cause they've
how to
been,
win,
in a place
compete.
that hasn't really lost, with the
agree.
exception of the 2 weird years they
Right.
had there. It's, especially since we're going all in with
Yeah,
trading that first round
Apparently,
pick. It's
they're they're
let's
trying
fucking-
to compete this
It's
year.
time to fucking win. So
Yeah.
this is the kind of guy you need, like a guy that's going to play every day, that's going to be tough, that
Right.
knows what to do, and is going to be just some, some good rebounds, some good putbacks.
I have zero faith in this organization.
But I
don't blame you.
I
It's just, it blows my mind. They are literally trying to compete. Looking at the moves they've made, where you go out, you get Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey, who are going to space the floor. At least they have some
it's
sort of.
not Jordan Poole.
They traded McCollum
traded
for
McCollum
Jordan Poole.
for Jordan Poole.
That's not terrible.
No, I
Jordan
like it.
Poole is an interesting.
It's I'm telling you
weird,
one
but-
thing that they're going to be
is entertaining.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Like Jeremiah Fears, the guy they picked, they call him Baby Kyrie. Like he's got that ball on a string.
He's an ISO ball king.
Yes. And then like Queen is an offensively talented player. They've got like 2 defenders on the whole team, or 3, with Messi, Jones, and Murphy. But they're offensively they're going to try and score and run.
GTA's always,
Alvarado. And I saw a Zion montage yesterday, and I was like, "This is why I can't quit him." He's like, it's like Chase Shorts. Like,
yeah, when
it's this
something
dude
that totally doesn't exist in the sport.
Yes, like dude, it's awesome.
It's like the ultimate terrible girlfriend thing where you're just like, I don't know how to quit you because you're so horrible to me.
Good.
But at the same time, when you're on, you're so incredible.
But so I'm
she disappears for a month and it goes to Ibiza. You're like, oh, okay,
right.
Let me know when you come back.
I'm like, I just
but
don't text me again, please. Text me back.
I like the Kevon Looney signing,
and
I'm
on Love Island. It'll be fine. I'll watch.
Okay.
Tori's Achilles having sex on Love Island. Come back to me, baby.
It'll be interesting to watch the Pelicans this season, as there's a lot of dynamics. And Joe Dumars is obviously trying to be a playoff team in 2025, 2026.
I don't trust the man whatsoever.
Not at all.
But you can't say he's done nothing.
Well, one thing
they
I like
are shaking things up
that he's done is he came in and said, I think this is a team that can compete. And every move he's made has backed up his thought process.
Yeah.
Like he could have said, I think this is a team that has the talent to compete now, and then completely broke it down and rebuilt.
Yeah. I mean,
or he could have done like saying we need to rebuild and then made these moves that don't. At least his words are matching up with his actions.
Yeah.
And I think at this point in New Orleans sports, that's all you can ask for.
Be something.
Be honest
try.
with me.
It's better than bringing back the same
stop
team.
leading me on.
Yes.
Right. Griffin every year saying, no, we're going to mix it up. We're going to do the things, and then never making any moves that,
Loomis saying, we're a team that can compete. Like,
I don't believe you.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just at least Dumars right now is keeping it real with me.
Yeah.
Of like he's saying we can compete and he's making moves
to be
that
competitive.
says he actually believes that. So
do I fully think that he knows what he's doing all the time? No, not necessarily. But a lot of us don't.
Well, yeah.
And at least he's out there putting forth some effort, and we're going to have a different team this year.
You've got Baby Kyrie out the draft. You've got Derek Queen, who's the best offensive center out of the draft. You went out and you got Jordan Poole, who's like
punchable.
Dude,
nothing if not free offensively.
Yes. Sadiq Bey, who's a career 40% three-point shooter. You still got Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson, Eves Messi. You go out and get Kevon Looney.
You still got Hawkins, who if he puts on a couple pounds.
Well, I don't think they're done making moves. Like I feel like there's still something that they're about to do.
Well, and you say that, and I think Dim Tigers puts it best. If Zion doesn't get his shit together this year, Dumar's going to ship him out. Yeah, then they'll rebuild.
Yeah, then it's not. But like
he's trying to do it one time this year and see if this works.
Right.
And then if it's a Zion, another drama sob story with he needs to keep it together, and I mean
or
that
he's out of shape, or with these women
have better taste,
or getting hurt. Please.
But if that then Joe Dumar's all right, I'm all in on a rebuild.
Yeah.
But I mean, if let's say Zion plays 65 games, right?
Yeah.
And then Trey Murphy takes the next step and is scoring 24.
Right.
Eves Messi is up, and then these 2 rookies end up, making an impact.
He's missing out on this.
Yeah.
That's I know the West is incredibly deep, but this was a team that was
you
first,
can compete if
they were first in the West
when
Zion was playing 2 years ago, and they looked like a real life team. They still have Herb Jones, they still have these guys that fill these needs, like long athletic wings, and then a couple spark plugs that we brought in. There's the potential for this to be a real team.
You can see this could be.
It's a little delusional.
It's just you're really betting on the real thing you need is for Zion to be Zion.
You a superstar.
Score 26 points a game on 70% shooting, dominate the lane, play actual defense, and be an all-star, be a third.
ESPN's top 10 every night.
And then, facilitate the ball to these other guys who can actually shoot and score now.
Well, and now you've got floor spacing. You've got Sadiq Bey, 40% from 3. Jordan Poole can shoot the 3. Trey Murphy
will
can
shoot the 3.
Will shoot the 3.
Oh, God.
Trey Murphy can shoot it from anywhere. Now the floor is spaced, and you have Zion trying to get to the rim.
It could work.
It could work. I see it. So, It might actually be fun to watch the Pelicans. We'll see. Christian would agree. He's probably going to be mad he's missing on this.
At least I'm going to want to tune in for the first 10 games of the season, which hasn't been the case lately.
Right. Into the two clap segments for this morning. LSU has 4 D1 baseball All-Americans as Cade Anderson on the first team, Jared Jones and Anthony Ianson second team, Kaysen Evans third team, which I think this is the only list Kaysen was a part of All-American-wise. The other 3 have been kind of unanimous All-Americans on every list, but Kaysen getting the respect he deserves from D1 baseball.
Well, it's about time all of them did. Because they were left off a ton of lists aside from
defensive teams.
Yeah, they just never really got the same respect as they kept shoehorning Texas and Texas A&M and Tennessee players, and it's like, that's the number 1 team in the country. They don't have anybody that deserves to be on a list somewhere.
Right.
And Jay John's like, this is kind of peculiar, but I don't care.
Yeah,
like we don't.
We have another award.
Yeah.
So the national championship trophy.
Yeah. So it worked out, but it's funny that they became undeniable.
Yeah.
Like you have to at some point
Acknowledge it, please.
Cade Anderson should be the first overall pick.
Acknowledgement.
Yes. Shake my hand.
2 claps. Ready. There are also 2 LSU American League future All-Stars. As from the same team as well, the Lugnuts.
Oh,
as
get a hat.
Got Gage Jump and Tommy Tanks are both a part of the All-Star Futures game, as they are, like we said, both in the A's organization playing for the Lugnuts. Gage Jump is the number 96 prospect in baseball. And then Tommy White, obviously an infielder on that American League roster. And the American League, the All-Star Futures game is an awesome game. Cruz played in it last season.
And it was played in it last season.
Yeah, and it's kind of what propelled Cruz into getting called up, was how he played, obviously in AAA leading up to it, but then he showed off in that game, and it's a huge, huge step for these guys. So it's going to be awesome to see them go out there and perform.
And even outside of the LSU guys, I love baseball prospects.
Of course,
it's one of my favorite things. So they got a couple really interesting guys here. I can't pronounce his name, but the ambidextrous pitcher that plays for Seattle.
From
Mississippi State. He's really honed his ability to actually throw with both hands. That's pretty cool. And then one of my favorite guys in minor league baseball, another name I cannot pronounce, but the Password from Boston. He's the outfielder here. That's his nickname, is the Password. And
awesome.
He's a great player, but already has the most elite nickname in maybe all of baseball.
That is such a good nickname. 2 claps for that nickname. The Password is so. But like Enrique Bradfield Jr. in the Orioles organization played at Vanderbilt.
This guy, the kid from the Yankees here, Lombard Jr. is going to be really good. So I mean, it's just the American League roster. So it's a fun game to tune into, even if you're not just looking at the LSU guys.
Definitely.
The Password.
But go Tigers.
The Password. That's such a good nickname.
I mean, how the fuck you can't beat that?
But Tommy White, Gage Jump, 2 claps, ready. Next up, Glimmer threw it in the chat, and it's actually a part of the 2 claps, as AD, Antonio Daniels, and Joel both got their extensions with the Pelicans being a part of their broadcast team. We've talked about it with LSU baseball, like listening to other broadcasts, how spoiled LSU is with Ben McDonald and Doug Thompson and Chris Blair and Lynn Rollins, and go down the list. The Pelicans are spoiled as well with those 2. They deserve 2 claps. Ready. Good move by the Pels to hold on to those 2 guys, the best in the business. This Twitter post deserves the opposite of 2 claps.
Thumbs down.
2 thumbs down it deserves, because what are we doing, man? And I'm so glad that it got the
ratio it deserves.
The ratio it deserves. Shout out to NBA Tiger Boy. Ratioed them twice. 2 times. Obviously, this post got 40 likes. NBA Tiger Boy said, I mean, wow, this might be one of the saddest posts I've ever seen.
It's deleted.
The post is?
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at it right now.
I just clicked on it. It's fine.
Why
and then he said that, which got 197 likes, and then the next one got 141 that said, are you going to replay your super regional loss to the eventual College World Series runner-up next? But Auburn put out a post, Auburn Baseball on Twitter, said, spoiler alert, with 3 broomsticks, head over to SEC Network to relive our sweep of the eventual national champs. Like, look, congratulations on winning the series in whatever month it was, March. But or April. But come on now.
It wasn't in
you got
June.
Yeah, you lost. You went 2-0 against Coastal Carolina in your own super regional.
I believe we beat them twice.
And I believe the LSU went 2-0 against Coastal Carolina in the College World Series final.
I just checked it. Yeah, that is correct. That's what happened.
Like, come on, like, what are we doing? This is like if they would have put out, spoiler alert, head over to SC Network and relive LSU versus Auburn from 2019 as the Auburn Tigers held LSU to only 23 points in their loss.
And a loss.
Relive Bo Nick's freshman season where he got awarded an award he did not deserve over Derek Stingley Jr. Like, come on now.
Dude,
What are we doing?
This is one of the best ratios I've ever seen. 40 likes is tremendously sad coming from an Auburn, like the Auburn baseball
Like,
account.
you thought you were putting out something people were going to root for.
Yeah, this is almost
Even-
horrible.
even-
It's not some Auburn baseball fan account. It is
Auburn
baseball. Even Auburn fans were like,
Right,
we're not going to like this.
91 comments.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 110,000 followers and you got 40 likes.
That's tough to do.
And NBA Tiger Boy now has 211 on his. This is the saddest post I've ever seen.
That is so sad.
That's awesome. So 2 thumbs down for Auburn. 2 claps for NBA Tiger Boys ratio. Ready.
This is sad.
That was that's hilarious. Next up on the 2 claps, EA Sports announced that they are making a college basketball video game. Now, it is sad that it's not going to be coming out until 2028.
Oh.
I saw later on Twitter, but it was nice that they officially announced it and said, bring the madness, let's run it back. EA Sports will create a college basketball video game. Obviously, all the success they got off of college football video game, expanding to college basketball, and then I'm sure it'll only be so long until they make a college baseball.
Let me be 15 forever. Let's fucking
literally.
go.
Yeah.
That's what
So,
this is, and I'm fine.
EA
You could go shoot them at the clock tower.
Yeah.
You remember that? When you signed up to play for LSU and you wanted to just do a little free practice?
Somebody was like,
You're
I
just
can't-
somewhere on campus, which
like,
doesn't exist.
I can't wait to design my outfits for the sideline when I'm sitting out of games because of my NIL deal. Like, I can't. Like, it's going to be awesome. So, once it's going to be a perfect world when you've got EA College Football, EA College Basketball, and EA College Baseball. I can't wait for the basketball one to come out so that I can turn LSU into a monster. And they're going to be the number 1 team in the
actually
country.
going to be a hard rebuild.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I can't wait. Like LSU football and LSU baseball, it's like, okay, this is kind of easy. I'm just getting all the 5 stars.
Yeah, that was a good program.
LSU basketball is going to be like, I got to find my bag man.
Yeah.
Like, who's giving out the cash?
I mean, I'm just going to make Will Wade the head coach.
I'm going to go Trent
Or-
Johnson and just
nice.
and run it back.
Dale Brown.
Let's try this again. Daddy Dale. No, I'm going to be
Or I
John.
could-
I'm going to
or-
be John Brady, and I'm going to go full John Brady playing the game.
Or you could do what I did for the college football game and make Jay Johnson your head coach of the football team, too.
Kim Mulkey,
Yeah.
the LSU men's basketball coach. As Dawn Staley's getting hired as not actually hired as the Knicks coach, but they at least reached out,
That's-
which I think is crazy.
the Knicks aren't going to have a head coach. It's going to be Ben Stiller. It might be Timothy Chalamet.
That would be awesome. It might work.
He would care.
It might work.
I mean, we're looking at the potential for a real life version of that movie Eddie. Remember that with Whoopi Goldberg,
Yes.
where they bring her down from the stands and then she
No,
becomes the coach of the Knicks.
They're getting denied every coach they try to talk to.
That's what.
No, you can't talk to them.
Or they're like, actually, they didn't contact me. I have no interest in doing that whatsoever. Gross. No.
Shouldn't have fired Tibbs.
Don't even put my name in that conversation.
No, yeah.
Let's throw Whoopi's name in the ring.
The EA basketball video game, 2 claps. Ready. Staying on the basketball train, Naz Reid, 5 years, $125 million. Former LSU Tiger got paid. What's that? That's $25 million a year.
It sure is.
Great move by the Timberwolves because he's a baller.
That's the kind of guy you need.
6th man of the year. There it is.
I've never. Why is she in the locker room?
Because she's the coach.
Yeah, this is a terrible.
She becomes the
Terrible movie
coach.
poster.
What year is that?
This is wrong.
There's
They're
like
in the shower.
There are several scenes
It's
where
not
she
even just the locker room.
she
It's
walks
the
into
shower.
the shower. You guys don't remember this classic film? She's always going
Never
into
saw
the
this movie
showers.
in my life.
Oh man, we should have a watch party for Eddie. It is unhinged.
Eddie too.
No, Joanna Man.
Joanna Man.
Great movie.
Unbelievable.
Eddie is better than Juana, man.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. But
I can't believe this poster. It's the one that they put out.
That's unbelievable.
This is
on
the
Google.
one
Yeah.
they went with.
That's
The basketball's covering the ass of the guy in the shower.
Yeah.
But Nas Reed,
The
25
implications.
mil a year, 2 claps, ready.
Oh, shit. We do it one more time.
2 claps, ready.
There we go. Sorry, Nas. He deserves better than that.
God. And then Nola, 10 years in the bigs.
Yeah.
It's an impressive
How
feat.
time flies. Well, now he is somebody that is very interesting because he could probably make much more money, but he doesn't care at all about money. I was talking to Mikey and Jay Mitch about it. He's like, he's one of the most interesting people. All he wants is to play baseball, and then when baseball season's over, he wants to go home, and then he wants to go hunt and fish. And, like, he doesn't know how much money he has.
Right.
Like, hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's like, that's cool. Like, doesn't spend it, doesn't do anything with it. And now he's 10 years in the bigs, which means you're fully vested for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know that, probably.
That's unbelievable. What a life.
Yeah.
A dream.
Well, pretty good at baseball.
Well, I mean, if you want to invest in a local up-and-coming Baton Rouge media company with the money you don't know you have.
Yes. I want to be his accountant.
10 grand you're not going to realize is missing?
Terrible decision by him.
Sure. I'd love it.
But,
10 grand would be nothing to him and everything to us.
2 claps, ready. Yeah, no, I mean, some people money's a little different than for us.
Yeah, I found that out.
Yeah, but there's the headlines of the 2 claps for this morning. Don't forget, we will have Wilson Alexander join us via Zoom in about 12 minutes to talk LSU football. As it's the revenue sharing era, the expectations are through the roof. He put together a great write-up on about Garrett Nussmeier on The Advocate, following up a great write-up about the revenue sharing. So we will talk to Wilson soon. Don't forget, every single day we are brought to you by CAS Roofing and Advising. Let me get this this bad boy up in the air.
Yeah.
Our guy Pierce Patterson from CAS Roofing and Advising. If you don't forget, they are putting together a nice little special for some LSU football fans. If you are in a, I think, 50-mile radius of their office, and you call them, you get a free inspection of your roof, which is always good before hurricane season. To get your roof, you can get a fortified roof, or you can just get them to give you a brand new Atlas Pinnacle Pristine shingled roof that can hold up against the storm, against wind, against hail, all of it. There was a hailstorm in the local Baton Rouge area just a couple weeks ago. Call them. They'll come to do a free inspection of your roof, hopefully try and get it bought by your insurance company, so it's no payment out of your pocket outside of your deductible. And you'll get put in a drawing for some LSU football season tickets. So an awesome special they're doing over at CAS. Call our guy Pierce Patterson, 225-910-0619 from CAS Roofing and Advising. It's not just a roof, it's our reputation, they say. Shout out to our guy Pierce and to CAS Roofing and Advising, as they are the best in the biz. A nice, young, and upcoming company, a lot like ourselves, but they've been crushing it the last handful of years. So appreciate all of you joining us. Don't forget, like I said, Wilson Alexander will be here in 10 minutes to talk LSU football. And then we will have Seth Dardar, the new LSU baseball infielder who has transferred in from Kansas State, will join us in studio at about 8:30 this morning to talk about his decision to head home and join Jay Johnson's program, which he signed with LSU, like committed during the rain delay of the West Virginia game. Rain delay Jay got him. So this was before LSU even won the Natty. That's one of the things I'm interested to ask. Like, you committed during the Supers, so you got to watch as a newly minted LSU Tiger, your head coach and some of your future teammates go out there and win the whole thing. Because I can only imagine, like, the emotions I felt, like, watching it as just a Tiger fan and someone that covers the program. Imagine sitting there being like, I just get to go play with these guys next year.
Yeah, like I'm going to be on this team. It probably hit a little, already clearly a fan of LSU baseball. Right. And then to get the opportunity, like, oh, he called me?
Yeah.
I'm going to play? And they're like, let's get this game on and popping because now I'm a Tiger.
Yeah. No, I had
to go jump in the dugout.
I can't imagine making a decision that
ever?
Well, yes. But that actually works out so well. You know what I mean? Like the feeling that you must have
hit the
when
portal
you're like,
there's risk.
Like, wait, oh my God, I did the right thing so
That's
hard.
exactly what I wanted.
Like he played at a smaller school in Columbia, had some ups and downs with some injuries, ended up getting the chance to play at a Power 5 Big 12 school, puts together really great numbers, and like made a risk to enter the portal, not just stick it out at Kansas State or whatever, and
where you were playing
gets his dream school to offer him, and then you sit back as obviously a fan of LSU and now a new player, and be like, oh, I made this. Like, this is the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Yeah,
like it was already a win just getting to put on the purple and gold. Now you just watched them win a national championship.
Like to watch that
5-0 in Omaha.
Go 5-0 in Omaha and watch the emergence of Tingle and Co. all in the same
Yeah, and get to
month
come join Tingle and Co.
of him committing. Like, what a fucking dream for this young man. Like, really, it's a lucky time to be alive for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's lucky.
Yeah, it made, like you said, he took a risk. Like,
Definitely.
I mean, when I played MLB The Show and I created my character and I didn't get offered by LSU, I just quit the game.
You did.
I was like, what's
Well, it's because you were a terrible defensive catcher.
That's true.
Hey, you can hit the piss out of the ball. You were the worst defensive
Jar,
catcher,
dude.
You were the worst defensive catcher I've ever
Where's
seen.
my offer? I was 10 for 12 with 8 home runs. Like, no offer. I was like, I go, Jay, does my you defense.
Well, you did throw the ball into the outfield 7 times trying to get the guy
every
boys
season
alert.
to last forever if you're going to be playing catcher. Like, isn't that all part of the thing? Is that you can,
It was harder than I thought.
if you're playing outfield, it only plays.
Well, you did get that
when
Cal
the ball gets
State
hit to you.
Fullerton offer, though.
But yeah, didn't take it.
Exciting
Still
15 years ago.
sitting. They're probably wondering, where is he?
Where's this guy at?
Not playing ball.
Nowhere.
Anymore. Took my ball and went home.
The ball I threw into the outfield, I tried to get the guy
Keep
second.
the boys on their toes.
It was fun watching
Catcher.
you do that.
And I never got any better at it.
Right.
They made no progress.
I was surprised you picked the catcher. Well, then you just made Pudge.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all you want to do. You're like, oh, I can be a catcher? Perfect.
7 Pudge.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
was,
It was kind of insulting to Pudge.
Definitely. Oh, it's Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh, talk about
deserves-
being lucky.
Talk about a life.
We got to be running out of these soon. Huh?
No.
10 more years on, buddy. It's,
Is it really
20, it's
10 more?
2035.
I feel like this has been going on for 30 years.
I mean, it has.
It has.
It has.
Could you imagine being, was it the Mets?
Yeah.
Right? Having to write that check every, that week. You're like, again with this. Like, what a bad decision we made. He's not doing anything.
No.
Ken
Now
Griffey
it's-
Jr. also
it's
is.
like different people own
Yeah.
the team, different people work. It's just like,
Well, I mean, these
Don't
are-
forget about Bobby Bonilla.
It was
We
like,
know.
These are
Right.
baseball contracts. Like, no other sport do you sign these 15-year deals where
Deferred payment.
it's deferred forever. Like,
Oh, I got to write a $1.48 million check. I
I
didn't
mean,
account for this.
what was the last year Bobby Bonilla played?
Cool.
like
What-
01 maybe?
So my entire life, this man has not played. Yeah, 2001. I was born in
Nice.
2002.
No, my Bonilla.
So I have not. Bobby Bonilla has not played a pitch of baseball
There's so many upsetting
since
things
I've
that just
entered
came out of that
Earth,
sentence.
and has been paid millions of dollars, and will continue to be paid until I'm 33 years old.
That's really old. Who gets that old?
Who turns 33?
You won't be around.
I'm fine. I'm fine that you were born after 9/11. I'm fine. Bobby Bonilla.
But yeah, 2 claps for Bobby Bonilla. Ready? What a special holiday Bobby Bonilla
Really is a
Day
great day.
He is 69 years old.
And I tell you
Getting
what,
paid like a professional
that,
baseball player.
that walk to the mailbox on July 1st every year.
I like to think he still gets a paper check. He's like, no, mail it to me.
Yeah,
still.
no,
No, yeah, it has to. Has
I
to.
don't want it.
I mean, that stroll to the mailbox, he's. What is it?
Yeah.
Does that say $1 million?
Oh, yet again? Me?
Oh, wait, how many more years is this? 10.
Signed by 15 different GOs. Like, frame them all.
Well, that shows you how much money the Mets have.
Yeah.
That they can give Juan Soto all the money in the world, and they're still paying Bobby Bonilla back pay from 2001. So we'll take a quick break, reset. We will have Wilson Alexander of The Advocate join us to talk LSU football, get us back on track right after this.
Gunnar Henderson is making $750,000.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, We don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back in here. Hour number 2 getting started here on this Tuesday morning here on Tingle & Co. And we are joined, I think for the first time since the move/rebrand, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate will be joining us to talk LSU football. Wilson, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
We appreciate you carving out some time for us this morning to talk some LSU football. You've put out some great write-ups lately on The Advocate. The first one I want to start with is the new revenue-sharing era of college sports. It feels like LSU is maybe a little more better prepared for this shift in the NIL space than they were with the original NIL decision maybe in 2022 or whenever that was. It feels like they have a better plan in place. Would I be wrong in saying that?
Well, first of all, real quick, sorry for barely speaking a second ago. I was not sure how it's working. Also, yes, great to be with y'all. And I think this is the first time that we've been able to link up since the rebrand. So congrats on the move and everything.
Thank you very much.
So to answer your question, are they better prepared? I think that it's not that they really weren't prepared for what, NIL first started as in 2021. LSU came out the gates with that, trying to help market its athletes and build their brands and all of those things. And I think it did a fairly good job of that at times. What it wasn't prepared for was when NIL quickly, or rather quickly at least, turned into these booster funded collectives, basically using NIL as a way to pay players over the table and sort of under the guise of NIL and be able to just sort of pour money into rosters It's been reported by myself and others that LSU was behind financially for a few years in that realm, and not really until the fundraising push took place over the past year did they catch up. And so I think that they're better prepared for this in that unless the landscape takes some shifts that we just don't anticipate, they have really gone after already this sort of partnership with Playfly Sports for helping arrange third-party NIL deals to be able to then go over the cap. And, Learfield is doing that. They're a similar multi-media rights company that's doing that with Georgia and with Texas and with Ohio State, and LSU is doing that as well, just with its partner Playfly. And so that could be, really beneficial for them if these sort of if the NIL rules are able to actually cap booster spending on players like they're intended to, then LSU thinks that this could really put them in a strong place because of their, again, sort of what they were good at right out the gates in 2021, which was marketing players and sort of helping them find that NIL. I think they would be probably well suited for that because they have done a pretty good job of it in that part over the past few years.
And on the collective front, obviously it is a shift happening towards revenue sharing, kind of away from these crowdfunding collectives. What does it truly mean for Bayou Traditions? Like, what purpose will the collective serve moving forward in this new revenue sharing era?
Yeah, it's still kind of uncertain. Anybody I've talked to who's associated with the collective or in LSU's athletic department has said it's basically a little bit unclear at the moment. They're not disbanding, Kelly Zinn said. They're not just sort of shuttering it, which we've already seen some other schools do. I think Georgia came out yesterday, said it's closing its collective in favor of this Learfield partnership that I mentioned. I think, plenty of other schools have sort of gone that route already. Bayou Traditions isn't fully closing, but it could. But the reason for that is that Kelly Zinn said it could end up maybe being used for another purpose, which is to kind of go after high school recruits. High school players aren't covered under the terms of the settlement, so there's this thought that maybe you can start kind of paying them. How you do that without it being a straight up recruiting inducement, pay for play, and just get in a whole bunch of trouble, I don't really know. But they've sort of said that they might keep the collective around for that purpose if that's sort of where things go. They don't want to be caught flat-footed if that's what ends up happening. And so we'll see if Bayou Tradition serves a role in that way. I think for the current LSU student, the current LSU athlete on campus, it's not really the primary way now, though, in which they'll make money. A lot of those deals were front-loaded over the first half of this year, so they've been gotten a lot over the past few months from Bayou Tradition. But now it's going to transition into revenue sharing and then helping them find these third-party NIL deals.
Does this feel like it is a more structured kind of future for college sports? I know that the College Sports Commission has been created, which, if we know anything about college sports, kind of like you were just talking about with the collectives, is somebody's going to find the loophole and find their way around some of these new rules. Does this feel like a more structured position for the sport moving forward after what's really been the wild, wild west for the last handful of years?
In theory, it does. We'll see if that ends up being, if the rules hold up. And I think that's kind of the big question. If you're able to cap the NIL spending in a way that it at least is, maybe you don't have these sort of outlandish, multi-million-dollar deals in exchange for the athlete doing very little, then that would probably give us some more structure. The thing, though, that it hasn't changed, which has always been a big piece of sort of maybe what we're talking about in terms of chaos and Wild Wild West, what has contributed to that, is that the transfer portal is still, athletes can just transfer as many times as they want during their career and have immediate eligibility. And that I don't think should change necessarily, because who's to say that the athlete shouldn't have the right to transfer like they do? But that's also a big element of this that hasn't changed. There's still, 2 transfer portal windows, and you can go and you can play somewhere else right away. And that's caused, a lot of tampering. And so, without that part changing, it could help if those NIL rules are able to sort of withstand any legal challenges that are likely to come their way.
And when I guess I'm trying to think of the way to phrase this because I don't understand it and I'm a little dumb. when you have like what this
Be
new
kinder to yourself, Lloyd.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, very dumb. You're right. When you have like this other model that they still have an NIL version of it, where it has to go through the clearinghouse, and there's I guess almost like an arbitration period. Who's to say that they won't use the exact same argument that they've been using for, like, you can't cap my worth if somebody's willing to pay me. Like, that's what's caused this, because legally that's what the rule is. And so there's millions or hundreds of court cases that have proven that this is why you're allowed to pay players now. And if somebody wants to pay them $10 million, it's well within their right to do so.
Exactly. No, you hit the nail on the head. That's I think what a lot of people are interested to see if that plays out, concerned about that happening, all those sorts of things. It's kind of the big question here, I think, moving forward is, can this NIL ruling over, if it's over $600, it has to be approved. And if it's not approved, then who's to say exactly that, like, somebody doesn't value that athlete at that price point? And because they at first, remember, a lot of the language we were seeing coming out about this was that it had to be a fair market value. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how do you determine fair market value for someone who's in LA versus someone who's in, the middle of Missouri versus, nationwide? That kind of differs from place to place, and it differs from company to company and person to person. So it's like, how are you going to do that? They've shifted that now to a reasonable range of compensation and serving a valid business purpose. And perhaps that's what, can withstand and hold up, is the valid business purpose part in particular. Like, okay, is like signing one autograph or doing one social media post, really worth $700,000? Like, probably not. But again, though, it's like, well, the company argues that it is to them. I don't know how you say no to that.
And then on the Garrett Nussmeier front, you had a sit down.
Fun stuff.
Yes, you had a sit down with LSU's star quarterback. What are the true expectations for LSU's 2025 signal car heading into his money season before the draft?
I mean, the expectations are really high. I think for Garrett, he has high expectations for himself too. He wants to be just a lot, I think, cleaner than he was last year. Better decision making, and also, use his legs when it makes sense. One of the questions I asked Garrett was, I mean, for you, like, what does running look like? You're not going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. Like, what do you? And he laughed at that and said, like, no, it's not going to be a 1,000-yard rusher, but to be able to stress defenses in that way, make them respect it, to then open up other things in the passing game, which is, I think, what everybody around here, wanted to see a little bit more of last year. So now he's, trying to really focus on knowing when to run, getting his body ready for that. He's working a lot on his sort of quick twitch muscles in his legs, trying to work on his explosiveness. And he's, I think, he seems to be pretty positive about what that could result in this year. And also just like things that he won't talk about too much. Garrett's always been one not to really dive into details about what he is trying to improve upon in his own game as a passer. But there are things that he's working on there too, especially when it comes to decision making. And I mean, gosh, you're seeing him already in the first round of mock drafts. You're seeing he has pretty high Heisman odds. If he can, sort of galvanize everything around him and take advantage of, the weapons that he has on the outside. And if LSU has some first-round receiver talent out there, which is obviously what they've had in the years when Joe Burrow and Jay Daniels won Heismans, and Nussmeier is able to cut down on the interceptions, I mean, he's probably going to be that first-round type of talent. And if LSU's playing meaningful games at the end of the year, then he's probably in the Heisman conversation. And I don't think that's unreasonable to anticipate. Expect is maybe a little bit different, but I think that it could, certainly be in that. We could be there at the end of November.
Because when you look at the roster that LSU has put around him and the talent that has been placed around him when they've got the transfer portal, how they've recruited at the wide receiver position, I do think is it fair to say that maybe the biggest thing that I've seen change from year to year, Garrett Nussmeier obviously knows now he's the starting quarterback. Like, there's no debate. He comes in with that experience. Have you seen kind of like a shift in the chemistry between, like, bringing in new transfer portal players, having to work very quickly together? But it seems like whenever you see the social media stuff, the chemistry has almost been most important as gaining weight or losing weight.
That absolutely is. It's something that Garrett talked about. They understand, he said, that this team needs to be close. The players need to be close, but the closest teams are the ones that win championships. And that's something that all of them have been trying to work on together. When you do have, like, a bunch of new players who are going to be playing key roles on this team. They've got to figure out kind of how to come together and come together fast. And yet you're hearing Garrett Nussmeier at least say that this is the closest team that he's been on at LSU, that this is the best roster he's been on LSU. We'll see if that's just off-season talk or if it's, really what he feels and sees out there. They're trying to make that kind of happen and come together by, whether it's going out and just eating or, Nick Anderson and him were in Dallas together at one point working out, trying to kind of catch up on some lost time after Nick was banged up during the spring, didn't really, wasn't like full go, it seemed at times, trying to kind of get on that same page. He keeps throwing with the receivers, all down at the Manning Passing Academy, just trying to work on that timing and that chemistry, because it didn't quite seem like they were all clicking in the spring, and so you got to keep working on that in the summer so that they're ready for game one. It is just as important as anything else.
A little bit of a off-season speculation question here. Would you be surprised if you see Garrett Nussmeier don that number 18 jersey going into next season?
Ooh, that is an interesting question, because it's like, who else on offense would necessarily make sense for that, right? I mean, probably nobody else. Garrett would be the one who I think would make the most sense. I'm like trying to think through everybody on the roster all of a sudden, like very quickly to see if anybody else would sort of. I wouldn't be surprised if it was him, because he makes sense in all the ways that you like everything you want from 18, the kind of role that they have on the team, that leadership thing, like the way he sort of carries himself around the team. I think that he checks all those boxes. The only question really is, like, does he want? Right. He wears 13 because his dad wears 13. It's always been a special number for him. And so I'd be fascinated, though, to see, if he wants 18, and I'm sure that LSU would probably like to give it to him and because he makes the most sense offensively.
And the first quarterback since it would be Matt Mock?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of everybody else. I'm trying to cycle through everything, all the whole list, and I don't think that. Yeah, I think it's Mock.
Well, because what do you like? He fits, like you said. It makes the most sense. He fits the bill. He's somebody that stuck around, could have hit the portal, comes back, like does all the right things. He's a coach's son, like really loves LSU. Like, what else do you really need to do? And he's an important player on the team,
right?
The quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, and I just can't think of anybody else on the offensive side who like sort of checks all those same type of boxes, who's been here as long, who, sort of has that leadership role on the team, who I think that's a key part too, right? Like a lot of these guys like have the personalities who I think could one day be 18, but like they just haven't sort of been around as long as Garrett is, hasn't established himself as a starter as long as Garrett has, which sort of I think maybe is important in that decision too.
Yeah, because it feels like on defense there's multiple guys that you could say off the top of your head. I mean, Whitweeks, Jacoby, and Guillory, like leaders, guys that kind of fit that mold. Offensively, there's
been just so much turnover and change.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Well, ask Garrett at media days. Hey, do you want 18?
There you go. Good question. Speaking of the other important number at LSU, number 7, Harold Perkins, obviously coming back from injury. Is there any news on that front and kind of where he's at and kind of what it's going to look like moving forward for him going into fall camp?
Yeah, no news, which I think is probably a good thing, because the expectation has been really since before spring practice that he would be able to participate in summer workouts and then be full go for preseason camp. I actually was able to speak with Harold recently, catch up with him just very briefly during a photo shoot that we did with him for a story that's going to come out in August. Going into the camp, and we didn't get to do the full sit-down interview yet. It was just the picture, so we were only able to talk for just a second. But he was sort of saying that he's not like completely fully doing like everything, no limitations whatsoever yet, but that is sort of like okay. Like they're trying to kind of conserve him in a way to make, and also just kind of ease him back into things. You're coming off an ACL, like you don't want that person to go too hard, too fast, too soon. And so everything, the expectation was still that he'd be participant for preseason camp, on track to still be, able to play, week 1 against Clemson, all those things like that. It still seems like that's the direction they're heading in. So that's kind of it's not really news. It's just sort of everything seems to still be moving in the direction that it's supposed to. One of the examples that he gave was like sometimes right now when they're doing like, say they have 4 reps of something, he's only doing 2. but that wasn't a concern to him. Like that was sort of the plan right now, so that they weren't putting too much stress on that surgically repaired knee.
With baseball season being over, obviously every kind of the attention shifts to football very quickly. Is it fair to say that, can you put a number or the temperature on Brian Kelly and even just week one? With all the changes that they've made and everything, everybody's all in. Like you can't run from it. So I'm just wondering what you think the tenor of that conversation around Brian Kelly is.
Yeah, I mean, is it fair to give it like a 6.5?
Yes.
If you were doing like a heat check, like a 6, I don't think it's like a I wouldn't want to put it above a 7 unless they actually like were to lose the Clemson game week 1, and then it'll probably be like a 12. But I guess maybe about a 6, just because there's pressure on him. Like donors stepped up in a big way, and now they want to see results. You're going to year 4. You haven't really gotten that close to the playoff since he took over, and that's been the expectation since he arrived. He's said it himself was national championships, and so now there's been this investment in the roster. He said it's the best roster that he's had at LSU, and so now there needs to be results to back that up. And so I think that this is a big year for Brian Kelly. Would LSU move on from him if things really bottomed out or something like that? Like I don't know. It's too early to really say. You also have to keep in mind his buyout at the end of the year would still be in the range of $50 million. That's a big number when you've just entered into this revenue sharing era and the business of your athletic department is in a little bit of a transition phase. So I don't really know, but it's time for him to certainly start, fulfilling that contract and that goal of national championships and at least championship contention. Does LSU need to win one this year to take the heat off Brian Kelly? No, I don't think so, but they need to make the playoffs, I think, at the very least.
One thing that we've kind of discussed a little bit just in-house here, is there any pressure added to Kelly and the football program when you see other programs at the same school find success like LSU baseball has, where they've won 2 national championships in 3 seasons? Obviously, they're different programs, but just kind of under the same umbrella, does it add pressure in a city like Baton Rouge at a school like LSU when this program's got 2 natties in 3 years and LSU just still hasn't gotten over the hump?
Yeah, I've never bought into that too much myself, just because it's LSU football. Like, how much more expectation and pressure can you really put on it than there would be otherwise? I feel like there would still be that even if none of the other programs at LSU won championships. Like, it would still be that on football, that it needs to go and win these titles, and if it's not, then there's just sort of this pressure to be able to go and do that. So I've never really brought into that. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know, but it's something that I remember. 2023 going into year 2. Brian Kelly was asked about that a lot, with Jay Johnson winning one in year 2 and Kim Mulkey winning one. He sort of would joke about it to kind of deflect, that he needed to win one. That just raise expectations on you and all that. And I just feel like it's always that way for football, but I don't know. Do y'all see that differently?
I think, and Lloyd made this point the other day, that it's less of pressure on Kelly and more kind of on Scott Woodward, of like, as much as he's made the right hires in these other realms, like you're still judged on football more than anything else. And so it adds some pressure to Kelly, but I think you're right in the thought process of the pressure on football is going to be there regardless.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought with Woodward too, especially because Kelly was his hire.
Right.
Comes in and ends up firing Ed, and then hires Brian Kelly. Like, this is Scott Woodward's hire, and I'm sure Scott Woodward would like to see that pan out, especially, to say the least, especially with how involved or not really involved necessarily, or is invested and interested as he is in football. I mean, he's around the ops building all the time, and he goes to out practices and stuff. Like, he wants to see football win. This is his hire, and so I think that's not a bad point there.
Well, we appreciate you making some time for us today. Great work, your recent write-ups over at The Advocate, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for having me, y'all. This new studio looks good.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. We'll talk soon. There he is, best in the biz, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Great information. Such a good interview. Glad when we can get him on, because it's funny, the dynamic from listening to us speak to listening to someone so well-informed and so intelligent speak, as he just absolutely crushed it just then. So appreciate Wilson for making some time for us. Obviously, still praying for him and his family as they have a tough road ahead as they've continued to battle sickness. And I just pray for Wilson and his wife and continue to do so, and really appreciate him carving some time out for us to talk LSU football. But I do agree with the point he made on the pressure on Kelly. Like, it is LSU football. Like, that championship pressure is there regardless.
But you just start seeing success around you.
Right.
And it becomes, it's impossible to not draw comparisons because they were all hired essentially at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, year two was 23.
And other people are winning at the university, so it's not the school's fault.
Right.
And so they're selling something that...
And he's far and away got the most resources.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I mean, so these other coaches are pulling it off with...
Not what you've been given in football,
right.
and I would contend, I know it's the SEC for football,
right?
The SEC in baseball, extremely hard.
SEC in every sport,
right?
Is the best
I don't
conference.
Hear,
yeah,
it's just a hard one to win. It's like, well, baseball's a hard one to win. You've done it twice.
Yeah, no, I mean, like all of the things that go against you in football stand in every other sport. Like the SEC is the best conference in women's college basketball, men's college basketball, baseball, softball, football, gymnastics. Like, go down the list. It's the SEC. So, like, I do believe that it does add a bit of pressure, but I think Wilson's in the right thought process of
football has
it's got the pressure regardless.
Right.
Like, baseball and men's and women's basketball could all suck, and you would still expect and need football to do what it's going to do.
Yeah, it changes your year.
Yes.
For most people.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I mean, if LSU won a national championship, I wouldn't need anything else.
Well, that's what's wrong with us, because when LSU wins one, we're like, oh, you can take 5 years off.
Yeah, no, I mean, 2019 made me okay with everything that happened after.
Exactly, like I'd do the same thing.
It's just now the clock's kind of ticking of like, okay,
we're not even mad at Ed Orgeron. He's taking his shirt off at weddings and forgetting his cufflinks. Yeah, and you're still like, hey, what a charmer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still wish it would have worked out.
Yeah,
still
and
wish
as bad as it was, you're like, get the guy a pass. It's one of us.
I mean, he
You're
is
in the program into the toilet.
He is one of us. But yeah, no, I mean it. Yeah, I'm trying to think if it doesn't add pressure, but I really can't see a situation where it doesn't. Like, I think it is harder to win in football, I would say. I know it's a point of contention, but I think it's harder to win one in football because but still, I don't know. But I still think LSU is LSU and football needs to win. So don't forget, every day we are brought to you by AJ Sports Cards, located at 3348 Drusilla Lane. The phone number is 225-831-4508. Put on an awesome event the other day that we all three swung over to. Saw a lot of vendors, a lot of people buying cards, selling cards. Like, literally name any player you've ever seen play a sport. Mm-hmm. There was a trading card there that was probably worth $100 or $200 more dollars,
including Al Bundy.
Yes,
Married with Children.
They had
multiple cards.
Literally everything.
5 Al Bundy football cards,
and the crown jewel of the event.
Oh,
I know.
If anybody out there really loves us, there was a signed. Where did the Sharks play in any given Sunday? Miami. Yeah, there was a signed Miami Sharks helmet that Al Pacino and Jamie Foxx signed. And if you know anything about Lloyd and I, we say that speech.
No, I saw it and I was like, Lloyd.
Every morning on our way over.
It's our
to the
mantra.
Show.
It was like
our
a
mantra.
Holy grail.
And it was the most gorgeous little thing.
It looked so cool.
It did look
just
awesome.
A signed mini helmet, $750, and it was like, this is why God doesn't give me nice things.
Right.
If I had money, I would have bought that.
And not just that. If I had that, I wouldn't be selling it for $750. I'd be wearing it.
Yeah, put it on my dog.
Driving around it. I mean, I wouldn't be selling it on the.
Just a funny thing to have.
But shout out to AJ Sports Cards. They put on an excellent event, and we're really glad for all their support. So make sure you head over to the store, 3348 Drusilla Lane. They've got such good merchandise in there. So much LSU stuff, MLB, NBA, Pokemon, like everything is in that store. Head over there, check it out. And if you get anything, let them know that you heard about it on Tingle & Co. So we'll take a quick break here, reset, and we should have one of the newest members of the LSU baseball program, Seth Dardar, transfer from Kansas State, joining us in studio right after this.
They said, as I think you're aware, that y'all have circled this game in a way that he hasn't done before for an opener. How are you and the other players sort of thinking about the importance of this game differently than you maybe have in the past?
Yeah, I think for one, at LSU, there's always an expectation, right? There's always an expectation to compete for a national championship. And so I think in the past, we've kind of looked too forward to that and always talked about where we wanted to be at the end of the season instead of focusing on where we had started, And so I think Coach Kelly and Coach Flint and the rest of the staff done an unbelievable job stressing that, it's a 1-0 mindset. There's 1-0 all over the weight room when we go into the weight room every morning. And so I think we see it, we believe it, and we fully trust it. Our goal is to work our tails off so that we can be 1-0, and then continue to go 1-0 from there each and every week.
Coach Kelly said, as I think you're aware, that y'all have circled this game in a way that he hasn't done before for an opener. How are you and the other players sort of thinking about the importance of this game differently than you maybe have in the past?
Yeah, I think for one, at LSU, there's always an expectation, right? There's always an expectation to compete for a national championship. And so I think in the past, we've kind of looked too forward to that and always talked about where we wanted to be at the end of the season instead of focusing on where we had started, And so I think Coach Kelly and Coach Flint and the rest of the staff done an unbelievable job stressing that, it's a 1-0 mindset. There's 1-0 all over the weight room when we go into the weight room every morning. And so I think we see it, we believe it, and we fully trust it. Our goal is to work our tails off so that we can be 1-0, and then continue to go 1-0 from there each and every week.
Coach Kelly said, as I think you're aware, that y'all have circled this game in a way that he hasn't done before for an opener. How are
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
Big band. Flex up. Good job. Big band. Whoa. 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 Chop. Big band. Whoa. Flex up. Good job. Big band. Flex up. Good job. Big stretch out, big band. Flex up, stretch out, big band. Roll up, flex up, stretch out, big band. Roll, flex up, stretch out, big band. Roll up, flex up, stretch out, big band. Roll, flex up. Chop, big band, roll up, flex up, stretch out, big band. Flex up, stretch out.
All right, welcome back here as we close out hour number 2 here on this Tuesday morning. We are joined by a very special guest, one of the newest members of the LSU baseball program, Seth Dardar, has made his way over to the studio and joined us. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be on.
Glad to have you in. We'll just start off with just kind of let everyone know kind of who you are, like as a player, kind of your journey up to this point through high school, college, and now here in Baton Rouge.
So I started high school at Jesuit, wound up transferring to Holy Cross, graduated from there. And then out of high school, I went to Columbia University in New York and had kind of a long career there. My freshman year was COVID, so I didn't play that year.
Right.
And then I wound up having 3 surgeries.
COVID in New York has to be awful.
Well, I was actually home my freshman year, so I was able to do online school, get a lot of credits out of the way while I was home, which at the time I was kind of upset about, but now
it's paid off.
Yeah, it paid off. But then I got 3 surgeries in the following 3 years, which kind of stunk. But then wound up grad transferring to K-State, and now this year coming to LSU.
Yeah.
So.
What was it like going from Louisiana to New York? Just the kind of the difference, and then from Louisiana to New York to Kansas, just all the kind of locations.
Yeah, it was definitely a culture shock going to New York, because I mean I went to high school in the city in New Orleans and stuff, and I thought
easy transition. Yeah, New Orleans, New York. Yeah, I'm a city boy.
But yeah, everyone would ask me like about the differences and stuff, and I'm like, New Orleans is supposed to be a big city, but it's definitely got small town vibes. Like everyone kind of knows each other, even though there is a lot of people. And in New York, it's just everybody's walking around with their head down, not really talking to each other.
Get out the way.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the weather is definitely a huge difference there. The cold weather. I think I was there for like a month, my sophomore year, my first year actually being out there. And at the end of September, it was like super cold. I think I called my mom and was like, I'm ready to come home. I wasn't even there for a month yet. Yeah. And I was already telling my mom I wanted to come home. But, after sticking through that, going to Kansas, it was definitely a big change. But I liked the change for sure. Right. Like going from a big city to like a small town, it was more like my pace. And then I was used to the cold weather kind of by that point. And so, I don't know, now coming home, I'm super happy.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. I mean, you made the call after 1 month in New York to come home, and now it's official that you're coming home and not just headed back home. You're playing for your hometown team. You know, what's that like?
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. Obviously, I've dreamed about coming to LSU and playing here since, I started playing baseball, which is when I was like 3 years old. And so out of high school, never really had the opportunity. And then going off to a different college, I never thought that would really come about. And so I think after my whole college career and the ups and downs, but then having eligibility left and having a good year at K-State last year, it's definitely was something that like I was like, well, this might be a possibility. It would be pretty cool to try to do this. So I'm glad it came about.
No, that's awesome. I mean, as we are all from Louisiana, like that's the dream to put on the purple and gold, to get to play in front of the best fans in the world. Talk to me about your decision to commit. Like when you entered the portal, kind of what was that journey like, being in the portal, getting the call from LSU, and then making the decision to be a Tiger?
So definitely when I got in the portal, my only option was like LSU or kind of bust. And
that's what we were saying like on the show. We were like, this is you taking a risk.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if they're going to contact you in the portal or not.
Yeah.
And so you're like, it's either this or I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So, really the whole thought process was after the year I had at Kansas State, it was kind of the first year in my career where I was healthy, in college at least. And the first time that I was able to prove really just to myself that kind of I could play at this level. I had a pretty good year. And I think I was just kind of satisfied, I guess, with the season that I had. And so I don't know. There was a lot going on, but I guess you could say I had a pretty lucrative job opportunity, and
Columbia education.
Yeah, so, well, that was kind of the thought process between, like, going back there or maybe taking, like, my job opportunity. And then, I don't know, the idea kind of got floated around, like, why don't you enter the portal and see if, you know, you can kind of follow your dream and see if LSU comes calling. So I entered the portal, and for, like, the first 30 minutes, LSU never called, but I was getting some other phone calls, and I was talking with my parents, like, you know, maybe I should answer the phone for some of these other schools. Like, I mean, LSU still hasn't called, and I don't know, I was getting kind of anxious, but after about 30 minutes, it's kind of a funny story. Coach Simpson DM'd me on Twitter asking for my phone number, and I gave it to him, and like 2 minutes later, I got another phone call from a random number, and I answered it, and it wasn't LSU. It was like, I think it's TCU. And so I was like, oh, gosh. And so I'm on the phone with TCU, and, of course, that's when Coach Jordan calls. Right. And I had his contact saved from the first time I got in the portal from Columbia. And so I didn't hang up on TCU. I
was about to ask, how quickly can we get this thing over with now?
Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't want to be rude and hang up, but Coach Jordan texted me. He was like, answer the phone. Like, I just called you. And so,
pick up the phone, buddy. What are you doing?
Yeah. So I called him back, and, you know, he gave me, like, the recruiting pitch and stuff, and it sounded like the feelings were mutual, that they wanted me to come here, and I want to be here. So, I was super happy with that. And then not long after, Coach Johnson called me, and we kind of sealed the deal. So, what were
your emotions like when you got that first DM? Like, you've been waiting kind of on edge for 30 minutes, and you saw the DM come through. Yeah. What was that feeling like?
Well, really, I was surprised because I know Coach Johnson and Coach Jordan have my number, because the first time I was in the portal, I was talking with them. But, yeah, Coach Simpson DM'd me, and I was like, I hope he calls me soon. And then when I got the phone call, I was like, oh, that was quick. And then it wasn't him, so I was like, oh, gosh.
Well, good call on not hanging the phone up. Like, actually, I've got a call coming in on the other line.
Oh, this is the one I meant to answer.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, just a surreal feeling. I think still it hasn't really set in that, like, I'm coming to LSU, and I'm going to play for LSU next year in the box and in front of all the fans that, you know, I've been, like, in the stands my whole life, really. And I don't know. It's like a dream come true, and it feels like I'm living a dream right now.
No, that's awesome. I guess my next question, what was your kind of a two-parter, your impression of Jay Johnson, like, before you really got to know him and committed to LSU, and then kind of now that your relationship with him has grown?
I mean, yeah, just impressed overall on both sides of it. Obviously, from the outside looking in, what he's done is pretty amazing and crazy. But, I mean, he just seems like a relentless worker. I mean, just as soon as they're done with winning the national championship, it seems like right away he's on the phone making phone calls, trying to get guys out of the portal. And now that I'm on this side of it and on his side, I guess it's a good feeling knowing that guy's my head coach.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
So when you got that call, like, I would imagine after you talk to LSU, and LSU's still playing baseball, did like watching it change at all for you, like seeing how they play or seeing how they coach, or just now being like de facto part of the team? You know, like it feels a little bit different, or is it just still like I'm a huge LSU fan regardless?
Yeah, I'd say I still felt like a big LSU fan. I still wanted them to win just as much as I've always wanted them to win, besides the one game we played them this year.
Right.
Did your best.
Yeah, I tried to steal that win, but yeah, it's kind of funny. For the West Virginia game in the Supers, I walked into Coach Johnson's office, and he had like the Frisco Classic belt on the ground, and I was like, that should be mine. And then he kind of joked, and he's like, yeah, I'll teach you that double relay for next year. But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I guess talking about that play, what were your thoughts, like, witnessing kind of that play, like, in the moment?
Yeah.
Like, obviously being a part of it. Because, I mean, us, as, like, people watching on TV, were like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like, that was about one of the most impressive. Because, I mean, you barreled that ball up like it was.
That's why I had to have a double relay.
Right, that's why I had to have a double relay. And then they made one of the best defensive plays I saw all year to kind of save that game.
I'd say, honestly, in the moment, I was so locked into the at-bat. I was facing Case and Evans, and so I was just trying to like pass the bat to the next guy, get on base, or do something, just put the ball in play, hit it hard. And so when I didn't even realize that was going to be the winning run, rounding third, and that was my best friend on first base. And so I hit it. I'm rounding first, running to second, and it's kind of all happening in slow motion. I'm not really looking over at third base, but he ran through a stop sign. If you go watch the playback, our coach had the stop sign up from when he was like rounding second base, and he ran through it and almost beat out him. He was running full speed, tried to hit like a sidestep around Luis at home, and it was a bang play. But after the game, he's like, probably for anyone else I would have stopped, but I wanted you to have the game winner against LSU.
That's awesome.
I don't know if the coaches at K-State are going to be too happy about me saying that he told me that, but yeah, I mean, he went all out for it, and then we got thrown out at home, and it was like, oh my gosh, I almost had the game winner. Like, that would have been so sick. And then even the next play, Daniel Dickinson made a diving play. I would have scored on it to win the game, and so that was just, I mean, in the moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to win the game so bad just playing against my hometown team. Yeah. But now, I mean, it's pretty cool that I was able to play against LSU this year and have a little bit of success, and now I'm coming here.
Yeah, so. No, I mean, the most outstanding player of the College World Series, Kate Anderson, you got to hit a rocket off the bat off of him, and then he turns around, throws a CG against Coastal Carolina in Game 1. You know, and I mean, obviously you knew him from, being in the same area somewhat, and then you get to hit that rocket solo homer off of him and then kind of watch what happened the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Do you think that when you obviously you weren't thinking this in the moment because you're not on Kansas State going, if I play well against LSU, maybe I can get in the portal. But do you think like you've seen the way that Jay operates, and against guys that he plays, he like kind of puts like a little star or something down where he's like, I could see him playing for LSU. Like, do you look back at that and go, thank God I didn't go 0 for 5 with 5?
I mean, I never thought about that, but now that you're saying it, yeah. I mean, I'm glad I didn't have a terrible game, yeah. But yeah, when I entered the portal, I was like, I hope he remembers that game because I mean, I had a decent game, and I even
don't forget who I did it off of. Like, SEC pitching.
Yeah, there's even a play earlier in the game with the bases loaded. I think it was off of Primo, and Milo made an insane catch. I hit a line drive with the bases loaded that probably would have scored 3 runs, and he caught it, and I was like,
there's so many the ladder.
Yeah, there's so many moments in the game where I felt like we could have won it, and especially like with me being a part of it, and we didn't. I mean, I was very frustrated after the game. I'm sure. I mean, now it's not that I'm...
It's funny how that works.
That's not the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
I guess my next question would be like, what are some of your impressions of some of the guys that will be back, like Milam, Jake Brown, some of those other guys that are part of this team that will be back next year that will be your teammates?
Yeah, I think Jay Johnson's talked about it a lot, but I mean, there's definitely a good group of guys coming back, a good core, and it's pretty awesome that a lot of the guys have experienced the success and they know what it takes to get to Omaha. And even I listened to Jake Brown on a podcast last night. A lot of them know what it takes or what it's like to lose too and get knocked out of the tournament. So there's a lot of experience coming back, and then it seems like a great group of guys. I haven't been in contact with many of them, but it seems like a good group. So I'm excited.
That's
awesome. I appreciate you listening to Mike Dodd. That was last night. Yeah,
of course.
It was right here.
In the same studio.
Yeah.
Don't tell all our secrets. Movie magic.
Yeah.
We just put up one poster that's different.
Yeah, we just swapped some sides around. I guess because speaking of this, Alec Bach Stadium, like your impressions, your entire life, and then just kind of knowing that you're going to get to go play in front of the best fans in the world in the best stadium in college baseball, kind of what's that like?
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm most excited for. I've been on the other side of it for my whole life, being in the stands and stuff, but I still dream about it because I haven't been in it yet. So even, especially now that I've committed here and I know I'm going to play here, it's like I still dream about it even more.
Right.
Like playing in the stadium in front of all the fans, and I mean that's what makes LSU LSU.
Right.
It's really like the fan base and the community and the support. So I'm just really excited.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, talk about you. I remember your visit was kind of announced to LSU on that day of the West Virginia game.
Yeah, and I don't know how that happened.
I remember when we were setting up to do like a watch party for the game, and I'm scrolling Twitter, and I was like, oh, they got somebody, Seth Dardar on a visit. I was like, I guess I should like share that. Put that out.
I was already committed by that point too.
Really?
And so all the fans are commenting like, you need to come here and all this stuff. I was like, I'm coming.
That's already happened. Because then the rain delay happens.
Yeah.
And so in the rain delay, the announcement is made that you've committed. Yeah. And it's it's called Rain Delay J. The rain delay happens, and Jay John's still recruiting.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like whenever you got to make the announcement, and then you're at the super regional game, and then you got to watch kind of the Omaha run as a member of the team.
It was definitely awesome. I didn't know when I was going to announce my commitment. I had talked to Jay on that Thursday, I think, is when I entered the portal, and that's kind of when I committed. And then I told him I was going to wait a little while. He asked me to wait a day to announce it, and I was like, I'll wait a little while. But then other schools kept contacting me because I never announced it or anything. So still waited a couple of days, and then I was at the game on Sunday, and the rain delay was happening, and I was with my parents and some of my friends and stuff. They're like, why don't you post? Because my cousin actually made the video, my announcement video, and it was ready to be posted. And so I was like, you know what, I'll post it, whatever. And so I really wasn't expecting the feedback that I got. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely a lot of funny comments, like Jay Johnson delays the game so he can get Seth Dardar commit. I was like, I've been committed, but sure, run with it.
As for the lore.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny.
It's a genius move actually by you, because everybody's fiending for LSU baseball, get this game going. LSU wants to play, and then you drop LSU baseball, and he's like, I needed something.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it wound up working out pretty good. And then I was at the game, and there was this guy who's looking at his phone. He kept looking up at me. I was like,
yeah.
And he goes, "Is this you?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." So it was
right
pretty.
here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
cool
awesome.
moment. Yeah.
Is this you?
I was like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah, I mean, some people that get asked that question is probably not as cool as an LSU baseball player. Could be anything.
We should look at you.
Just on this wanted poster.
No.
Yeah.
But I guess kind of let the fan base know who they're getting, as a player, as a person, but really on the field, what is Seth Dardar going to bring to LSU?
Yeah, somebody that just wants to win, honestly, and then especially now at LSU, it's I've always wanted LSU to win, and now I'm on the team, and it's I'll do anything it takes, whether it's playing a role or being a starter. Obviously, a personal goal is to be a starter, but I'll do whatever it takes, and you're getting an extremely hard worker. I'll work endlessly to try to win. So
yeah, no, that's
the recipe. That's what he likes.
That's how you do it. It's a match made in heaven. You and Jay Johnson.
Yeah.
I remember one of the questions asked when they did the celebration after the Natty. He was getting asked a question, and I've quoted it a few times, but it was they asked him when'd you get back to work, and he was like, plane landed. The second the plane landed, right back to it.
Yeah.
That's
Air Force J.
That's the recipe, But yeah, just kind of talk about kind of what's next for you and the steps getting to kind of what the steps towards the season are going to look like now that you're here.
Yeah, I'd say that's already started, and really, as soon as I got home, I was already on the backfield by my house with my dad taking ground balls and stuff. I'd say defense is one of the things I need to work on the most, but yeah, I'm still working out, and I'm supposed to be moving in later next week and so I can start training on campus, which is cool. And then going into the fall 100%, that's definitely a key factor, I'd say, that I'm focused on, because throughout my career with all the injuries and stuff, the main thing I focus on is being 100% and having a good fall, and then hitting the ground running during the season. Yeah, trying to go back to back.
Yeah, Jonathan, you got something?
Yeah, do you have a relationship with any of the guys on the team already?
You're going to say with your father.
Yeah, do you and your dad get along?
We do get along, yes.
It's kind of a running theme on the show for me to ask people about their dads. I don't know, do you love them a lot?
Is he proud of you?
Yeah, opening for another son. I don't know, but no, man. being a Louisiana guy, do you know? Obviously, you know some of the guys that are already on the team, but do you have a close relationship coming in? Do you hate any of them from high school? What can we talk about? Were they mean to you when you almost beat them?
Give us the gossip.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't hate any of them, but
Good smart. Good answer.
yeah, most of them are a lot younger than me, but I know Cade Anderson we have the same physical therapist, and Cade got Tommy John in high school, and I've been hurt pretty much every year the last 5 years of my life.
You already signed. Hey, hurt right now.
No, I'm coming off a healthy year, so
there we go.
Let's keep the trend going. But yeah, I know him a little bit just through our physical therapist, but that's really it. I don't know many of the guys personally. I know them from watching them on TV and right. I guess being a fan, but now I get to be their teammate, which
hitting
which
homers
is cool.
and doubles off them.
Yeah.
But
you in Nebraska to the moon.
Yeah, no, I mean that.
Oh, what the fuck with the bat flip? What was this?
Yeah, I mean that was a heck of a bat flip.
You did want to beat LSU.
I mean,
look at that. Yeah, fuck off.
yeah, it was back to back. No, that wasn't what that was. I was just excited to tie the game, but that was back to back with my best friend on the team at the time, and it was to tie the game. And
yeah.
A little bit of a Jersey tug right there. Sorry about that, but
no, I think that I apologize. It's gonna win everybody over.
Yeah, it'll be on LSU's side now next year, but yeah, I have a tendency to, I guess, crash out, if you will.
No, I saw. I mean, there's the one clip where you hit the one and you kind of pound the bat into.
Yeah,
the
our
ground.
coach was like, relax on the bat flip. So I hit the ball and I was just like, super excited, and I didn't want to flip my bat, so. Slammed my bat, and I got back to the dugout, and they were like, "We thought you popped it up. We thought you missed it." I was like, "No, I just didn't know what to do." Like I was so
too excited.
I was so excited, and I didn't want to flip my bat, so that's what I did.
It came out next.
That's awesome.
Well, it's because like the lefty bat flip is like the coolest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Like it's just natural for you to want to be able to finish high and then flip it, but playing with that emotion and that kind of like character is all what like LSU fans love. It's what it's all about. Like you can tell you're from Louisiana.
Yeah. So Hal Hughes, who was the shortstop here, not long ago, his dad was my head coach this year, and so he would get frustrated sometimes. And I talked to Hal. He's like, "Yeah, I told him like he's from Louisiana. Like that's just how he is." And so I was like, "That's a good way to
just
to
wired
put
a
it."
little different.
I guess I don't know if that's a great excuse, to tell him. I'm just from Louisiana. That's how I am.
It
But
works, I'm telling you.
Well, the good thing is you don't have to worry about that excuse anymore.
yeah, but that's definitely, I guess, like the truth of how it is.
Yeah.
Like that's how people from Louisiana are. We're very emotional. We're very invested in sports, and I mean that's just kind of how it came out. And then part of that too was like I hadn't played baseball and really I played my junior year at Columbia through injury. Didn't finish the year. Got a season-ending surgery, but it was like a long time since I played in a meaningful baseball game, and so. That was like the third week of the year, and then the home run in Globe Life was the second week of the year. And so it was like all those pent-up emotions from like the past 3 years when I wasn't able to play was all coming out because I was having success, which I felt like was a long time waiting. And so I don't know, it was like all those emotions just coming out. So
we're excited to see it happen at Alec Box.
Yeah.
see a couple bat flips or bat slams in Alec Box stadiums. It'd be pretty awesome.
Oh, the first one is gonna hit like crack.
Yeah, I'll probably get yelled at. I got a few warnings from the umpires this year, and that's what like my coach was frustrated about. Like, you need to relax. Like, you haven't played baseball in 3 years. Like, you're about to get kicked out of a game and like get suspended. Like, we just stay in the lineup. Like,
keep playing.
Hey, I guarantee you, if something like that happens, the next morning from 7 to 9, we'll be right here on this microphone, banging the table.
Yeah.
On the umpires. This is just how it happens.
Yeah, it's just from Louisiana. Give us passion.
We'll have your back.
Yeah.
I did hear a rumor that you almost stopped for a picture with a local celebrity one time at an LSU baseball
yeah,
game.
this is definitely the
Never
truth.
get your heroes.
Yeah, before I went to the West Virginia game for the Supers, obviously, but my last game before that was the Super Regional against Kentucky. The year they made it to Omaha and won it. And I saw Lloyd at the game. I was with my friend George. He got us tickets. And it was like a last-second thing, like, you want to come to the game? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so that game, by the way, was so sick. And, like, I was watching the game, and I was – even though I never thought it was a possibility I'd be able to come to LSU, I was still like, dang, I could so see myself, like, on the field.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, I was getting goosebumps watching the game. But, yeah, I turned around and see Lloyd walking through Alex Box.
Hammered.
He doesn't remember it.
I can't confirm nor deny that, but yeah, my friend was like, we should go take a picture with them, and I was like, I don't know, and there's people coming up to you, and so I was like, oh, we'll just leave them alone. But now I so wish I took a picture and I could have that right now and hold it up and be like, look at this, like it's come full circle now, like I'm on the podcast with you.
That would have been the commitment graphic on our page. Would have been you and Lloyd.
Got the deal done.
Closing the deal.
That would have been hilarious, but yeah, I was like a second away from coming and asking for a picture with you. I wish I would have done it.
That's awesome.
Anybody, you're more than welcome. It makes me feel very good.
It does. He really does love it. It's, most of his personal
Bruce's
validation comes from.
Yeah.
It still surprises me every time.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah, you hate it.
I hate it.
but
I want the
obviously
attention.
You've brought a little bit of luck. I mean, your last 2 LSU games you've gone to were super regional wins to to head to Omaha. So take that what you will.
Let's just win every game at home this year.
You're
clearly very lucky.
In every one of them.
You're gonna be there anyway, so let's just keep it going.
Hopefully the trend continues.
No pressure. Hey, which Manhattan is better to play baseball in?
I mean,
You're the only guy that's played in both Manhattans, probably.
Oh, yeah, Kansas.
Yeah.
Little
Good
Apple.
question.
Yeah.
All I did.
I mean, I'd say I had more success in the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas, so I'd have to say there, and I was healthy the whole time.
Where do you play at Columbia? Sorry to get off track, but like, it's right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Is the practice field on campus? I know nobody else gives a shit about this, but
Yeah, the athletic complex is off campus. It's like a 15-minute bus ride or subway ride. I guess you could take the subway. But it's right on like the north side of Manhattan, like the island, and like there's a river behind our field. Right across the river is the Bronx. So
Wow.
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little bit different going from that, a bus ride to the complex to now like the best complex in college baseball.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. And I mean, I thought like Kansas State, going from Columbia to Kansas State last year was like a huge jump. And I felt like a Major League Baseball player with all the amenities we had and stuff. And I know that going to LSU next year, it's only going to be a jump up from that. So
The only thing that you do have to watch out for is whenever you want to go get some work in during a game, you do have to walk the crowd. Which is awesome. So if you're 3 for 3, maybe just walk around for a second. People say, "Hey, I'll teach you my way."
Yeah,
this is what I would do if I was a player.
Oh my god! I know it's not happening by accident. He's plotting this shit ahead of time.
Yeah,
Jonathan,
know everybody $1.
Jonathan, you got another one?
Oh,
Why is Lloyd Cushenberry your favorite player?
No, it's more of just like a personal grievance. You're from Mandeville, right?
yes,
And you went to Jesuit
I did.
instead of just going to St. Paul's, which is an excellent program, closer to your home. And then you went to Holy Cross after that. So you avoided St. Paul's twice? So just I guess my question is, what the fuck's your problem?
Yeah, I don't think I can't win, honestly, when I talk about high schools, because I say I went to Jesuit, and then all the
Your
Jesuit
original
guys start
transfer
getting
portal guy.
Yeah, and all the Jesuit guys start getting happy, but then I'm like, well, I graduated from Holy Cross, so then the Jesuit guys are mad, and then the Holy Cross guys are like, why'd you go to Jesuit first? like what's your problem?
And
And
now
then-
the St. Paul's guy.
Yeah, now
North
it-
Shore was like,
St. Paul's is
yeah, the
cool.
North Shore is like, what? Like, you're from the North Shore? What's going on? And then obviously the other Catholic school guys are like, yeah, like nobody's
win.
happy. It doesn't matter. So
Did you play any other sports growing up or in high school or anything?
in high school, no. Growing up, I played basketball. I was a huge Pistol Pete guy. Pete
Really?
Maravich, yeah, I loved Pete Maravich. He was like my idol growing up.
That's awesome.
And then going into high school, I kind of just dropped everything else and focused on baseball.
No, because I played basketball in high school, and Holy Cross beat the tar out of us in the tournament. I don't really remember the final score, but it was probably like a 20-point difference.
So you're probably one of the few people that's actually happy COVID happened because it gave you the extra year.
Now,
you get to sign off.
yeah. Well, and it's weird
one
how
of
it
the
works.
sick people that are happy about COVID. Can we
Yeah, I'm
put
so
that as the
happy there's a
headline?
global pandemic that shut everything down in the world.
LSU
No.
transfer loves COVID.
No, I'd say now I'm definitely happy about it. But so my senior year of high school was like the original COVID year. And then my freshman year, it was only the Ivy League that didn't play. So all the other conferences played. I was at home.
What are the chances?
Yeah, I was so, like, at the time, it was, like, upsetting. I was like, dang, I'm losing out on my freshman year. I was home the whole year.
Right.
But then, I mean, looking back on it now, it's like, it
Just
wasn't so
wait
bad. I was able...
Wait
That's crazy.
6 years.
I was
it'll
able
pay
to
out.
I was able to start like my Ivy League education online, which wasn't like the worst
not
thing.
the worst.
Not to say I was like cheating or anything, but Zoom is a little bit different than being in person.
Yes.
and that sort of thing. But
Just
yeah,
have somebody else sitting right next to you. Taking a test. Like, oh, I'm here.
Are you worried about the increased academic rigors of going from Columbia to LSU? Is this going to be? Are you going to keep your grades up? You think?
If you can't, we have a tuba player.
Yesterday's guest was a 67-year-old incoming freshman.
So if you need help.
yeah, I'd say yeah, like Jake Brown said, we're not exactly here for scholarly reasons.
I didn't come here to play school.
Yeah, I didn't come here to play school. So
You went
I
from
think the focus is going to be baseball.
the Ivy League of the academics Let's do the Ivy League of
Ivy League of baseball.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your major? Is it already done?
So at Columbia, I got an engineering degree.
Oh my God.
Oh, is that all? Oh, that's impressive.
You did have a very lucrative job opportunity.
And so, I kind of got that out of the way, and then I actually started.
Got that out of the way.
Yeah.
That's crazy impressive.
And so last year I started my MBA at Kansas State, and then I'm still trying to figure out if I'll be able to
drop that.
continue that here. Yeah, honestly, I might drop that and get like a certificate or something. Yeah, hope my mom's not upset about me saying that on a live podcast. But
we can cut that.
We can. It's live. We can tell you we can.
But yeah, I started my MBA at Kansas State. Don't know if I'm gonna finish it here or not. I'm trying to do whatever's kind of the easiest for school and go in like all in on baseball.
Yeah, focus on.
You already have a degree. I think that's okay.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
Engineering degree from Columbia.
Got that out the way.
Yeah.
Definitely, as soon as I leave here, my mom's gonna call me and be like, I don't know if that's the best advice they're giving you. You might want to finish your MBA.
The last thing you want to do is talk to this guy about school.
We did have a kid that was first that I think quit school, and he moved home.
Yeah, so we had a guy that worked with us.
bartender.
Had one semester of school left to get his degree.
And he dropped out.
And Lloyd convinced him to drop out.
We kept complaining about school. I was like, you just don't even. You can finish that whenever.
You can stop.
Yeah, now he was a bartender. I love you,
Shout
Jack.
out to Jack.
That's great.
Yeah, you want to take school advice from Lloyd, even though he's got his master's.
Don't make the mistakes I made.
His advice always was, look at us, we're in the same place. I went to school for 6 years. You're a freshman in college.
Yeah, save some money.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or just be really good at baseball.
Yeah, that would have been. I keep waiting for that to happen. Put my name in the draft every year.
But, well, we appreciate your time coming in here, joining us. We've enjoyed having you on, and we're really excited to watch you put on the purple and gold and play.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. This was fun.
It's awesome.
Oh, wait, we have to do our athletic connections. We might as well.
He's
an athlete. He can help, and he's had an engineering degree.
Have you ever played the game Athletic Connections or just Connections?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
so
the
they have
Wordle type.
Yes.
Okay.
They have a sports one.
Because we're dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
We do every show. We end it with a little athletic connection. So it's connections, but it's just sports based because we can't figure out the normal.
Yeah, we can't. So we
life.
tried to find the easiest one because we wanted to play like a game to end of the show, do something fun, and we're like, this real connections is actually incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And so we just make ourselves look dumb. And they're like, is there a sports one? They're like, yes, there is. It's like, all right, we're in.
Yeah, we're pretty good at the sports one.
Connections isn't hard, you guys.
It's just not as fun as the sports one.
I guess we could do the.
It's like Sports Jeopardy versus Jeopardy. Like Sports Jeopardy is way more fun.
Anytime you're playing a trivia game and you land on sports, you're like, yes.
Oh, and the worst thing about that though, if you're like playing a board game and it's a sports question, everybody just turns and looks like at you. It's like, I don't know everything.
Yeah, and it's like, who won the lacrosse championship in 1974? It's
the
like,
Water Dogs. I don't know.
Don't look at me.
Stop that. All right, here we go. Let's connect athletically.
Let's see it.
All right, are we working together here?
There's a lot of hockey. Is it all hockey? No, it's basketball.
Why is it?
Canadian teams: Raptors, Grizzlies,
Expos,
Nordiques, Maple Leafs. I don't know.
Hold on. See, this is what happened. It's not.
Yeah. You got to talk it out.
Yeah.
So is there just Toronto teams?
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays is Toronto.
Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto Raptors. Toronto Expos? Montreal.
Montreal Expos.
It might
Canada.
Just all Canada.
Raptors, Grizzlies, Blue Jays, Expos. I don't know why I went that way.
Toronto Grizzlies?
No, I'm not Toronto. I'm just saying like.
All right. So whenever we get stuck, we
what
hit
were
it
the
with
Grizzlies
shuffle.
before they were Vancouver?
So let's do all the Canadian things.
All right. So
Yeah.
Nash, Davies, McDavid are all Canadian
Why is this the Canadian? Is this the right one?
This is
It says New York Times.
athletes.
Or maybe freestyle skiing,
See,
I think probably
Curling.
Sinclair is gonna be.
oh, we got Olympic stuff.
curling, ice hockey,
Hockey.
and then what else is an Olympic?
What's
something?
Sinclair? Seems like a fun-
Scepters? Is that like fencing?
Maybe.
No.
We have to put something in at some point.
I know. This is not going to break our speed
Let's go.
record.
Submit it.
Oh.
Dang. I say we go with the Canadian teams.
Okay.
Raptors, Expos,
Yep.
Maple Leafs,
And Blue Jays.
and Blue Jays.
Or let's do, instead of Maple Leafs, do Grizzlies.
Why?
Because they're,
Basketball? And
well, no, it's Canadian teams in I guess, an American league.
okay.
I guess Maple Leafs counts too, but
Yeah.
I don't know. This one's tough. It's because it's not American. Okay, so which one do we want to swap out from Maple Leafs? Grizzlies?
Is that what I just did?
Yeah. You just put Grizzlies. Try Maple Leafs.
Yeah, try this one.
Oh my God, we're not going to.
Oh
Oh
my
no.
gosh,
We're not gonna get a single one. This is
Got
terrible.
one
Hold up.
right.
Oh
We've
God.
never been in this position.
See, you know what happens with this? When
need to lock in.
quit.
We need to lock in real
David
quick.
Davies, Nash, and Sinclair.
Okay.
Are
You better hope. We're gonna have the.
Yes!
There we go.
Yes!
Let's
We're
go.
alive! We're
We're
alive!
still alive. We're here. We're here. All right. It's definitely freestyle skiing, curling, ice hockey, and then something else.
Must be breaking.
Breaking?
Oh yeah,
Like break dancing?
Yeah, but those are all winter sports. Otherwise, I don't know.
Oh, what's a Nordic?
It's a Canadian hockey team.
Okay, we have two of those. Any guesses? What's the Scepters?
What are the Maroons?
I have no idea.
The Maroons and the Scepters.
In the Nordics, and there's got to be one more weird thing that we don't know about.
Oh, it could be the Expos, and they could be teams that actually don't
Exist
anymore.
I don't think the Nordics.
Okay. I mean, don't look at me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, we've never failed.
We've
before.
never failed before. And we
That's
do it
terrible.
for the
Well, that's
Columbia
you know what
guy.
you know what
God,
that
we're
you know what
dumb.
that means.
What does that mean?
We're just ultra fucking American. Yeah. Like, take your hockey, take your shit, and leave. It is America.
This is
Yeah,
America.
we need to do a Louisiana one now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need. Louisiana connection.
This is like the third hockey one that we've had to do.
One last question. How excited are you to go to Death Valley as a student athlete?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that.
How excited are you for football season?
Really excited. I can't
Is
wait.
Brian Kelly on the hot seat? They better win week 1.
That's not my call.
Good answer.
Good answer.
We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9. Appreciate everybody. Thank you again for coming in.
Yeah, thank y'all.
See y'all again tomorrow morning.
No, wrong one. That's Seth Dardar. Thank you.